Hey everybody, we're here with Maria, Shell, and you are all from Alaska.
I am.
That's way up there.
It is far north.
What town in Alaska do you live in?
I live in Anchorage. We lived in Anchorage for 3 years, then we moved to Valdez for 7, and that's where I learned how to quilt in the little teeny mountain town, and then we moved back to Anchorage 10 years ago. So been up there 20 years.
Now, a little bird told me that you started collecting fabric like a long time ago. Is that true?
Yes, I've always sewn, and my mom is a big sort of rummage sale, garage sale person, and so from a little young age, I would go and shop for vintage fabric.
Now, the quilts that we're looking at, are these vintage fabrics, or are they more contemporary fabrics, or?
Well, this one here is all shot cottons, but most of my quilts have an assortment of fabrics. So these are all solid color fabric quilts. I do work with prints also, but I thought these would look cohesive together. But there are vintage fabrics, hand-dyed fabrics, and commercial contemporary solid fabrics in the quilt. Like you can see, there's a lot of vintage in this particular quilt because I have a lot of vintage scraps. Yes.
And that's from your collection from way back?
Yep. Some of them are. It's all just keeps rolling. You know, I'm still collecting, and I use, and I collect, and I use. So.
We do that. One of the things that I'm looking at, though, that I really like is that these are pieced, and just letting you guys know that they're pieced, but they're pieced with really, really small pieces, so it almost looks like fabric in itself. The design has become so interwoven that it just feels solid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's one of my goals with my work. I like the idea of piecing prints. So I will make my own stripes, my own polka dots, my own checks. I've been working on plaids and tartans, and that's a lot of fun. Those are some newer things I've been working on. But yeah, making prints out of solids.
So give us the kind of lowdown on where your brain is whenever it's functioning as an artist. Help us to understand your mind.
All right. Well, I'm grounded in tradition. I started out as a traditional quilt maker in Valdez, and there I studied under an official quilt police.
Okay, yeah,
yes,
learn the rules.
Learn the rules, yes. And I went through a phase where I made a lot of very elaborate traditional quilt patterns, feathered stars, Lemoyne stars, lone stars. And then eventually I studied with Nancy Crow, and I call myself a bitmaker. I like to piece little bits together. Like this quilt is made of those scraps from the backs of most of my quilts. I like to use shot cottons on my backs because I feel like they really highlight the quilting while also minimizing they don't show mistakes in the same way that a solid would show a mistake. And I don't want to use a print because I've done a lot of work here, and I think of the backs of my quilts as a photographic negative.
Right.
So on the front you're seeing the quilting and the piecing, and on the back you just see the quilting.
But it's beautiful with the colors because you're changing colors of thread to create this, and it's very, very flat, which is always a goal, but it's also very fluid. And I think sometimes people think if you over quilt it gets all like a board. These are not like a board. They're gorgeous.
No, I know I was teaching in Florida, and actually a couple students argued with me. They're like, Maria, there's no batting in that quilt. I'm like, yes, there is batting.
Yeah, they will argue. I've had it happen before. It's like, it can't possibly be.
No.
Look at this. This is just fabulous.
These quilts, this one, and this one, and that one right there, are all related to each other. They're based on a traditional quilt block called Squares and a Square. The quilt block has several names, but that's kind of my favorite name right now. And so these are all the same quilt block, enlarged, repeated,
right,
extended, and a lot of my quilts, one of them grows out of the next one. So this here.
Oh, that's, yeah.
Is this.
It is, yeah. I see that.
And and then I did a multiplication of that and made a big one. And then there'll be like bits from this I'll use to do this.
So they all get married and intertwined, which
right.
is what gives them a cohesive nature from quilt to quilt.
Right, and if you look at my work as a whole, you can spot things that I've used. Like this is left over, that right there is left over from that.
Look at that. I see that. I see the I see the colorations. Now, are you out teaching? You're teaching. I know you're teaching here at Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Are you teaching in the general circuit? Are you leaving Alaska and
I
going
am.
everywhere?
It's really a recent development. My oldest started college, and it's to the point where I can leave home and return, and they look kind of the same.
That's fun.
Yeah, I have 3 boys, so that's been quite the adventure. And now they're growing up, and I can start traveling.
All right, so where can people find you? Because they're going to want to hire you.
Oh, that will be great.
Yeah.
I have a website, mariashell.com, and I have a blog which is connected to my website that I post regularly about being a quilt maker, living in Alaska, and living a creative life. And that is called Tales of a Stitcher. So you can reach me at those places.
Talesofastitcher.com?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Thank you. High five, because that's fabulous. I'm so happy to meet you. And hope to see you soon, right?
Yes.
Even up in Alaska.
Yeah, that would be great. Now that I know that you're coming, I might have to renew my membership.
That's great. Hey, everybody, we'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching.